Hello my Chucky boys and girls, it is that time of the year again. 3 years straight now, we get a new season of the Chucky TV series. Look at you, all grown up. When we started, you were just in middle school. Now you're headed off to college. How time flies. And well, as your chosen Chucky boy, it is of course time for me to break down episode 1 for you guys. And you know what? They started off kind of promising. They had one scene that just blew my mind. No, not that scene. Lexi making TikToks.
Here it is.
Quite inspiring, if I do say so myself. But for the next 4 weeks, I'll be breaking down each episode of the Chucky TV series, and that is all we're going to be getting this year. Unfortunately, because of the Hollywood strike, they were only able to finish half the season, 4 episodes, and since the actors are currently on strike and they're not able to finish the remaining episodes, we won't get them until maybe spring of next year. So only expect to get 4 episodes this year, but hey, at least we're getting some Chucky. But as I go into this first episode, let me know what you think about it. Are you excited for Chucky in the White House? How did you feel after the events of Season 2? With that stuff out of the way, let's just dive into episode 1 of Season 3 of the Chucky TV series. But okay, with my overall thoughts, and I was walking in a little hesitant. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the last season, and from the trailers, although a lot of stuff looks promising and awesome, that latest trailer they put out definitely kind of got me on board for what could be going down this season. I was hoping they'd kind of tone down the campy, cheesy, jokey vibes of Chucky. I know he's all about that, but when Chucky's being menacing and creepy, that's just when this show is at its full potential, and I think episode 1 is a perfect example of that. Because finishing off with this first episode, I like what they're showing off here. We start off this episode with a little boy named Henry, who I'm just gonna say right out the gate, absolutely adorable kid. Great casting. I think he's gonna be one of my favorite new characters of this season. And well, the scene plays out like he's a kid scared of a ghost in his house that they've recently moved into, with Chucky, who is going by the name Joseph in this doll body, leaning back cozy and happy, revealing he's actually in the White House. Bringing us to the title card sequence of this episode, made up of American flags, that I do think is pretty sweet. Now, I wasn't too big on the idea of Chucky going to the White House. I feel like there's much more interesting places you could take Chucky, and then just with the White House, I was like dreading any political commentary that might be involved here. I've had to deal with 2 seasons and comment sections of people calling this show woke for dumb reasons, so I kind of smelled the comments before this happened, but this seemed politically free for the most part, and I was like, all right, keep it going then. But through the course of this episode, they really sold me on the idea of Chucky terrorizing the White House and the fun we could have. While Devon Sawa and his first lady are both returning cast members from previous seasons, Devon Sawa has played somebody every season, and we're waiting for that episode where the president is going to get brutally taken down. Don't come for me, Homeland Security, come for the Chucky TV series. We have Laura Jean Kratowski, who is going to be playing the first lady, who also played Sister Ruth last season. And don't even get me started on the vice president, because Lexi, if you see him on the TV, you're gonna freak out, because he was your dad from a previous season. He was also the crazy psychiatrist in Cult of Chucky. Don Mancini is becoming the Adam Sandler of the horror universe, where he's casting all his friends and returning them. I love it. Don Mancini, you want to cast me and make me return every season? I'll do it. I'll do it. But just the banter that they kind of set up between this White House family, I'm really intrigued with. I almost would be totally fine if this was just the entire season and we kind of let go of previous story threads. The little kid is absolutely adorable, being scared of haunted by ghosts in the White House, reading a book that he got from the gift shop of the White House of possible ghosts in the area, or just the way he talked to a Secret Service agent about not needing friends and Chucky is all he needs.
Joseph's got a big heart too. At night, when I listen really close, I can hear it beating.
I really thought it was a tired trope of us having another little kid be like, oh, Chucky did it. Chucky said so. Chucky's the one. I was like, we've done this like 4 or 5 times in the franchise, but you bring in a likable character, I'm gonna be okay with it. There's even something about the mischievous son in the White House that, although he's meant to be an unlikable character, because he's kind of a podhead and a rebellious son, I feel like I am gonna dig the brother relationship they have going on here, and him probably later protecting his little brother from Chucky.
Roderick, can you explain what you're doing in this photo?
That's not me.
That's not you?
Nope.
Now, there is more mystery to this family, but let's go on to the trio returning for this season that I am happy about. Through each commercial break in the episode, we got to see little tidbits of what each one of them is doing, starting off with Jake, who seems to be some sort of vlogger, has an audience online of people that have heard his story and probably appreciate his art. Not just that, but the boy's been hitting the gym and he looks fantastic. Drop that workout routine, Jake. But I am loving that Jake is going back to his doll sculptures that look absolutely gnarly. I really like this like spider looking one made out of dolls. I thought that was such an interesting creative choice that they gave Jake in the first season, then they kind of had to let it go for second season, and now it's back for this season. So I'm down for that, and he's really trying to use his online audience to find the last Chucky good guy doll out there. Moving on to Lexi, I was kind of perplexed to see that she was using thirst traps to try and get any and every information she can about her missing sister. Last we saw, Tiffany took her, and I'm sure we're going to get more answers to that, but this is just one way to do it. If I ever need to find somebody and I have to shake my butt on the internet to get that information, best believe I'm twerking. And then catching us up with Devin, who was the original online celebrity. He had a podcast all the way to the first season, and he's still continuing on with that. I wonder if the trio's online presence will play a bigger part into the overall season or how they go about defeating Chucky. I just think it's kind of funny that they gave them all kind of online careers in a sense. We do get the return of Miss Fairchild, who we all had wild, crazy theories about. I was guilty of them. I thought she was Glenn or Glenn in disguise. But now we know she's a genuinely nice person that wants to put them back on track, and one of them is getting their schoolwork in order. I'd hate to call it early, but I did this last time in season 2. Miss Fairchild is looking so friendly, so helpful, so nice. I feel like she's gonna be the lovable character that ends up getting by the end of this season. I'm not saying I know that for a fact, but I'm just saying they might do her like they did Nadine. R.I.P. Nadine. It's also nice to see Devin and Jake just be together. I kind of hated when there was so much back and forth about them breaking up, being together, breaking up. I mean, they're so in love, they're quoting romance films like Call Me By Your Name.
Elio, Oliver. Call me by your name and I'll call you by mine.
If one of them started to pull out a peach, I was turning that episode off. Also, more of a Brokeback Mountain guy myself. Come on now. Call me by your name. But getting back to the White House and the mystery surrounding there, because that's kind of what has me the most intrigued right now, is the president does seem a little bit disturbed or off with Chucky naming himself Joseph.
It's a weird coincidence, Henry, finding a doll with that name.
He mentions that it's weird that his son found a doll with that kind of name, that it's a bit of a coincidence, and I feel like we only get one hint to what that could be. To get to that hint, though, we have to go through the kill of this episode. Teddy, the Secret Service agent. This was kind of unexpected. I didn't see this coming, and I thought they did a gnarly effect. I don't think I'll be able to show it in this YouTube video, but it looked really cool. It kind of caught me off guard, and I like how Chucky framed it as self-inflicted. It's just almost like him stirring the pot in the White House and knowing he can get away with it either way. Now, there's obvious plot holes we can pick at. I know in my mind, I was like, the White House has to be one of those places that just has a million cameras at every angle. There's bound to be someone seeing footage of Chucky running around. But if we think too hard like that, the entire show just falls apart, right? But once that Secret Service agent is dead and we have the president and the first lady talking to each other about what this could do to Henry.
Henry lost his brother. And he lost Teddy.
The dad does mention, it's like, well, now he lost Teddy and he's lost a brother. I don't know if he meant that metaphorically, as in his brother is just now that teenage age who he's not paying attention to him, doesn't want to bond with him, or that they literally lost a child named Joseph. And Chucky is somehow aware of that and is playing with it. I don't know. Maybe I missed something here. It's kind of late right now for me. What we do know is Chucky is the person not to just go after people randomly. If he's going after you, it's because he has a vendetta. He has that completion anxiety where you got away in the past or you did something wrong to him and Chucky wants to finish the job. And this presidential family might have some sort of background history to Charles Lee Ray. Capping off the episode with Chucky wanting to tease the trio of his location, giving them a hint on the phone, and this is where it feels like Chucky's plan is coming together in a fun way. He's in a location that is going to be impossible, really hard to get to. I know in trailers of upcoming episodes, it looks like the White House will have a Halloween costume party and they each go as Chucky. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm going to be most interested to see if they can weave these two stories together in an interesting fashion, because right now I'm kind of very hooked on this Chucky White House plot and all these other subplots from Caroline, the trio trying to go after him. I'm just like, all right, see how you connect the dots here. So yeah, episode 1 to me seems promising. It feels like there is a lot of potential. I feel like by the end of the 4 episodes, we're just gonna feel a little unsatisfied or incomplete. That's because they never meant the season to cut off that way. So I fully expect us to be kind of left a little meh, only having seen half the season. But hopefully what we get to see does give us some enthusiasm for the remaining 4 episodes. Let me know what you guys thought about the first episode for Chucky Season 3. Are you on board? Does this seem promising? Anything and everything, be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chucky Boy. Take care.